Okay, so in this break, what I've done is I've just added two more commits. Okay, so now we have first commit, second commit, and third commit, because in the last query, I tried to run that git reset and everything was gone, right? So that's why I have just added two more commits. Okay, so let me quickly revise what all things we have seen. We started with git init, then we saw git add, then we saw git commit. Okay, I'm not writing the entire statement, or in fact I should write, I think, file name. Okay, then git commit minus m message, then git status, then what else was there? Git log, git diff, git reset hard, and three varieties of that: git reset head, and the number of positions you want to go back, or you can do the hash also directly. Okay, so we have seen all these things. Did I miss anything? uh, Git init add, I think that's it, right? Okay, so let's move ahead now. The next part that I'm going to tell you is absolutely important, and this should come even before git init is done. Okay, and I skipped that purposely so that that command uh, is actually mandatory, but uh, that is not that is not necessary every time. Okay, it is a one time process, right? So that's why I didn't take that part over here, right? So basically what I want to say is how to whenever you do a commit. Now this git is used not by a single person. Okay, it is for collaborative work. Collaborative work means most in your this particular semester, everybody, whether it is final year, second year, or third year, you will be having mini project. Okay, mini project or major project. Now in that case you are doing the project in groups. Okay, now usually what happens is everybody in the group members, they will all do their uh, work, whatever they are doing, independently. Okay, and I have seen most of the times what happens is one of the students will be doing the coding part, and others will be, let's say one of them is doing the documentation part, and other is doing some other work, right? But that is not how you will become a good engineer. Okay, everybody should be doing everything, right? So for that, what you have to do is you have to start using collaborative tools. Okay, so one of them is git. Okay, so here what we are going to do is you're going to uh, let me just mute. Okay, you are going to share the same code base with your friends also. Okay, so basically your team members, whoever are there, group members, so you will be sharing the same code base. Then let's say you commit something and put it on the server, and then your friend also commits it. Okay, now how will you come to know which commit is mine and which commit is your friends, right? So that comes from here. Okay, the author part. Okay, you can see the author is my name, right? So but then how did git know that who is the author? So that is what we are going to uh, do now. Okay, so this has to be done whenever you create, before you create a new repository. Okay, so and if you forget to do it, and let me tell you, I always forget to do it, to create the set the the name and the email address. So it happens, but it is not that important that you can set it afterwards also. So but it is better if you set it before. Okay, so now how to set that username? Okay, now here there are two ways to setting it. Let's suppose you are on your local computer at home, which will be used by only you. Okay, so you are the developer. So what you can do is you can set the global name and email address. Okay, so that all the repositories will be using that. That is what I have done over here. Okay, second is you can do, let's say you are in college and you want to use Git. Okay, in that case you can set, because the system will be used by multiple people, so it is not advisable to set it as global. Instead you will set it as local. Okay, so I will just show you how to do them, how to do these things. Okay, so let me just set git config. So the command is git space config, and I'm not providing anything. I just want to show you what all options are there. If I press enter here, it will show you what are options is there. Okay, so what I'm looking for is this. Okay, so if you want to set it as global, then you use this flag, and if you want to set it as local, you use this flag. Okay, and I think everybody is at home in their computer. They will be having their own computer, so we will be sticking to global. If you are in college or in a public cyber cafe or something, then you can go for local. Okay, so after that, what all things you can set? Okay, so that there are two things. You can set the name as well as the email ID. So I will just show you how to set that. Git config, then I want to set it as global. Okay, then you want to set the user and the property name. Okay, so user dot name, and after that space, and you can say any name. Okay, so in my case I'm just putting my name. Okay, press enter, and that is saved in the config. Okay, so now any repository you create on this particular computer, it will use this name. Okay, next, the same command, but instead of name it will be email, and here you can put whatever is your email ID. So I will put my email ID. This is my development email. I use this to whenever I make any open source software. Okay, so I will put that, and now I am set. Okay, so in your computers, now I will be uploading a few assignments on the Moodle account as well as few quizzes. Okay, quiz is easy. If you have heard this particular sessions, then you can easily appear for the quiz. But assignments, while doing it, you will have to follow whatever we have done over here. And definitely if you forget to add these two lines, then you cannot commit at all. Okay, so you will not be allowed to commit only. So this is important at the beginning of the development. Okay, at the when you start developing, you should set these two fields, username and user email. Okay, so once this is done, I will just clear my screen. For clearing the screen, the command is clear. And now we can go to the next part. Okay, so let's do git log. I have two commits, and let's do git status and find out whether are there any changes. It says there are no changes. Okay, but I have done these many changes, right? But then why is it not reflecting over here? Okay, the problem is I have not saved it. Okay, so let me just save it, press Ctrl S over here. Now it is saved. Now if I do git status, now you can see it is showing me that there is something modified. Okay, I'm just doing a quick revision. Okay, so now if I do git diff, I can see what changes I have done. You can see there was a line called Chalo World, which was removed. Why? Because of the minus sign. then there are so many lines that are added with the plus sign. That means it is created, new lines are added, right? And once I know this, I am happy with whatever is the contents, I can do git add to stage. Okay, now you can put the name index.html, or in this case, in our case, there is only one file. Okay, but that is not the case when you are working on big projects. Okay, so you will be editing multiple files, right? And it is not possible to one by one add each and every file. Okay, so what normally people use is dot, git add dot. So what git add dot does is it adds everything, okay, all the files to the staging area, right? So I normally use this only. Okay, I always use git add dot to add everything to the staging area, and then I can do git commit -m, and I can say the fourth commit. Okay, done. My commit is done. Now I can try git log and see I have 4 commits. Okay, so I think till here everybody is clear, right? Now the next thing that I want to show is, what if in next 5 minutes we will be seeing how to branch. Okay, what is branching? Okay, and before that I would like to just show you. Right now you are at head master. Okay, so basically your head, that is your current state, is at the final commit, that is 4th commit. Okay, so this entire thing is for the 4th commit. So right now your head is at here. Okay, now you want to go back. Okay, you want to see what was the code in 2nd commit. Okay, but you don't want to reset. Okay, you just want to see what was the code, you don't want to reset. How to do that? Okay, if I do reset, then obviously it will come to 2nd commit, but then these 2 commits will be gone. I don't want that. These commits are important to me and I want that, but I just want to see what was the state of the file in the 2nd commit. So for that, what you do is you learn, this is the next command that we are going to learn. It is called checkout. Okay, so git checkout will help you to go to anywhere. Okay, any of the commits. Okay, let's suppose I want to see what was the state of the file in the 1st commit. Okay, so I'm going to take the hash of this, copy, and git checkout and paste the hash over here. If I press enter, you can see now the head is at what place? It is at 1st commit, and you can see the reflection over here. At the beginning, in the 1st commit, my state was, my file had only hello. Okay, so you can check what are the states of your file, and now once everything is set, now you want to go back, right? You want to go back to the original what do you say, commit. So for that, what you can do is you can just do git checkout and go to the branch where you want to check out. So the branch, so this is master. Okay, so you can do this. If you do that, you can see I have gone back to my original state. Okay, so now I'm back to the 4th state. Okay, let me just show you git log, and you can see in git log I am right now at 4th commit. Okay, let me go to the 2nd commit now. Okay, I just want to show you one more thing. Let me go to the 2nd commit. So for going to the 2nd commit, the command is checkout and the hash. Okay, if I enter, I have gone to the 2nd commit, right? And there in the 2nd commit, the file data was hello world. Okay, that is fine. Now I want to go to the 3rd commit, not the master. That means the final commit. I want to go to the 3rd commit. Okay, so how to do that? Now to go to the third commit, I have to find out the hash of the third commit. So let's do git log and find it out. Oh, sorry. Git log and find it. Where is the third commit? Where is the fourth commit? Okay. So where is all the commits? So my third commit and the fourth commit is gone, right? So right now I can see only first commit and the second commit. So there is no third and fourth. That is because it is by default, git log will show you only the commits from the beginning till the place where you have checked out. It will not show the remaining one. Okay. So to see everything, what you can do is just add this flag, git log all. If you enter that, now you can see the difference. You have the first commit, you have the second commit, you have the third and the fourth, plus the fourth commit says it is the master. Okay. So if you want to go back to this particular fourth commit, you can either use this hash or you can simply call it as master. Okay. And you can see that right now we are at second commit, and you can see where the head is. Right now the head is at second commit. Okay. Now I want to go to third commit. So I can just copy this hash and come over here, type git checkout and type that hash. Sorry, did I not copy it? Okay, so if I press, now I am on third commit, and you can see the statement changed from hello world to chalo world, right? And if I do git log now, you can see master is at fourth commit and head is now at third commit. Okay. So this is how you can go up and down the tree. Okay. So this is basically called the tree, and you can go up and down anywhere you like, and you can see the changes and accordingly go back and do the corrections. Okay. So now let's go back to our master, right? And you can see I'm now back. All my data is back, and now I am on the master branch. Okay. So till now we have seen a lot of commands of git, and I think there are only 8 minutes left, so I will not be taking branching right now. We will start from branching in the next week. Okay. So now we will have a few minutes for the queries if anybody is having any queries. Okay. Akshay is asking, sir, for checkout instead of hash, can we use head? Yes, yes. So let's try that. We are on master and let's do head, and I want to go 2 steps back. Okay. Yeah, 3 steps back. Okay. So I can do this. And if I press enter, I went to the first commit. Okay. So you basically in the checkout, you can have 3 different variations. Okay. One is you can put the hash that is there from the git log. Second is you can put the name of the branch. In our case, there is right now only one branch, that is the master. So I can put master, or you can use head. You can change the head, incrementally. Okay. So wherever the head currently is, you can go up or down. Basically here we are going to go down. Okay. Any other doubts? Okay, Siddharth, that is very good question. Can we change data in the second and third commits after checking out, right? So basically, yes, you can, but then it will create a lot of problems. So that's why we are going to do branching. Okay, so I will show you what branching is and how branching works. So basically, you will have the master tree. And whenever if you feel that you want to go back and change something, so what you do is you create a branch out of there, you do the changes and then do a merge to the master. Okay, you cannot directly change it. So this is the way. Okay, so whenever you want to go back and change something, you can create a branch, create the changes and then merge with the master. Okay, so that is what we are going to do in the next week. Okay, sir, can we change? Okay. Sir, can you explain more about how more than two people can write the code in same file? Exactly. If you look at the contents of our uh, um, contents of the course, you can see we have covered all these things. And I have covered a little bit of reset, but then the next topic itself is merging. Okay, and whenever you do merging, there are bound to be conflicts. Okay, now this collaborative development, that means multiple people if they want to edit, that we will see when we work on this. Okay, so that is the last part of our course, collaborative development. Okay, so once you learn the Git, then then you will understand, and I will also show you some plugins in Visual Studio Code which will help you in understanding who has done what. Okay, I will just show you, if anybody needs, I will just show you the name of the plugin. It's called Git Lens. I will just quickly install that and show you what happens. Okay, it's installed. Now if I go to my file, you can see what has happened. Can you see? I don't know if it's visible or not. It is saying, I'm just talking about this. So it is saying you an hour ago. Okay, so instead of you means myself. Okay, instead of this, it will show you who has edited this particular line. Okay, so that is where this particular Git comes into picture, where multiple people can edit, and you can, from here you can see who has edited what. And if you are not happy with it, you can always clear it out and change the code. So now then in his code it will reflect again. Okay, these session recordings, just a minute. How to go up using the head? Okay, so how to go up using the head, in fact I have never done that before, so I will also search how to go up. Maybe there will be a different symbol for that, I suppose, right? So I will search for that and let you know in the next part. I have never gone up. I normally use the commit hash to go up and down. Okay, I never use head as such. Once type git reset and press enter. Okay, so I have pressed the git reset and nothing has happened. It is on the same, what do you say, hash. Okay, so nothing has changed here. Okay, so if you run git reset without any changes in your working directory, then nothing is going to happen. You have to provide additional parameters. Like if you want to reset it to a particular state, then you can do git reset and then give the hash over here. Then it will go to that particular state. These sessions recording, yes, it will be uploaded on the Moodle. And very important, there will be assignments and quiz uploaded on the Moodle. You have to complete that also. Okay. If we check out previous commit and make some changes, and will the changes be reflected in the master? No, it will not be reflected. You have to merge that. Okay, so it will be stored in the branch, then that branch you have to merge it, then only merge with the, so this all entire branching and merging thing we will see in the next part. Yes, yes, it will overwrite, and it will smartly overwrite uh, when you do merging, only when you are sure that you want to overwrite. Okay, otherwise you will never do merging. Okay, so that is I will also tell you what is the use case of branching. Okay, so the major use case is collaborative working. Okay, so normally what happens is you will take a big project, divide it into small parts, and each part will be developed by a different person, and everybody will be working on a different branch, and at the end all that branches will be merged to the master. That is how the development works. Okay, will merging overwrite the branch? Yes, yes, it will overwrite. If there are 4 commits and head is at the 3rd commit, then what will happen if we use git reset hard? At that time nothing will happen. Okay, git reset hard is basically looking at the current directory and checking if there is any changes. If there are any changes, it will undo it. Okay, but if you do git reset hard space the hash, okay, then it will go to that particular state. Can merge be undone? Yes, yes, anything that you do in git can be undone except reset. Okay, except hard reset. You hard reset cannot be undone, except that most of the things can be undone. Okay, that is why we do not use reset at all. We use the concept of revert that we will see in the next part. Okay, because revert is undestructive, whereas reset is destructive. Okay, any more queries? Thank you, Talha, for muting your microphone. We have heard everything that was going on in your house. Okay, Yash is asking, by current directory, you mean the one recently saved but not committed? No, current directory is whatever is seen on your editor or whatever is there, current state of your directory. Okay. Okay. Faisal is asking, can you explain the difference between reset and reset hard? Okay, so in the next, I will just give you a brief overview, and just remind me in the next week that to actually show your demo of soft reset and hard reset. Okay, so if you do git reset, it is a soft reset. Okay, so git soft reset, there nothing is changed in the working directory. All the changes are done in the git repo only. Okay, so what happens is that is changed, and this will be, you know, slightly different, but then you can change the code over here and then commit again. That is that option you get when you do git reset. Plus the advantage is it is non-destructive because the code is not completely vanished, it is there. Okay, so you can always commit again and get the code. Okay, but git reset hard completely changes everything, goes back, deletes everything that you have committed before. Okay, and clears out everything. So it is very uh, bad, you can say, to use git reset unless you are sure that you will never be needing that particular code. Okay, so let's say you have written some code and you're 100% sure that this is completely wrong and this thing I am never going to use, you can use git reset for that. Okay, so I think there are no further queries. If there are any queries, there is a forum in the Moodle also. You can ask over there, or you can WhatsApp me also. Okay. So I hope to see you in the next session. in the next week, same timing. Okay. Goodbye.